Shanice. My name is Shanice and I am a Mi'kmaq youth worker, art enthusiast, lady from Halifax. Welcome to Studio from Home with the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. Today I'll be showing you culturally inspired art activities that you can do at home. Today we're going to make a beaded image. It is inspired by the jewelry that's represented in the mixed media 2003 piece Resistor by Anong Migwans Beam. You can find this piece in the Art Gallery Nova Scotia permanent collection. So Indigenous people use jewelry and beadwork to represent our culture, our families, and special images. So I'm honoring this piece by reimagining my nephew's first piece of beadwork for this activity. And here it is. It's so sweet. He did such a good job. I've been creating contemporary beaded jewelry since about 2014. And I'm so grateful for that I can express myself and my culture through these special images in my beadwork. I think about the subject of the art today, and I would connect with her about her beadwork and what it meant to her if it felt like I could, if it was appropriate. So as you are planning your design today, I want you to keep that in mind. What symbols, what's important to you, what do you want to represent in your beadwork today? So now we're going to talk about materials. You're going to need some felt, some needles and thread. You're gonna need some beads. It's just what I got around, good old pony beads. You're gonna need some markers, and I would also say glue, probably. So I'm just gonna show you a speeded up process here. I'm cutting out my shape. Any shape will do. Might want a little more space than this, but that's what I'm gonna use. And yeah, now you just see my little design that I'm working with. I'm doing like a fire triangle shape, and I'm also adding a little border, but be careful because that takes away a lot of your little space. So now you're just gonna thread your needle as you would. I only like to tie a knot in one end of my thread. That's just a personal preference, but if you wanna do two, you can do that. This is really important. You need to poke your needle up through the back side of the piece. See how I'm trying a couple times? I give you kind of an example. You can kind of see where it's going to go. You can move it around, but it has to come up through the back. Once it's up and your knot is secure, you're going to pick up your beads for your design. So you don't have to do everything in a straight line. I am today, but you're going to pick up that whole row of beads that you're doing. And you can see I'm just finishing up my design. And then you're going to take your needle, and see how I'm using my thumb? That's so important. Take your needle at the very end of your row of beads and pull it through. And you're going to use your hands and your thumbs a lot to keep it secure and in the shape that you want. And then I'm just poking up through to create one stitch over. We call that a tacking down stitch. I do recommend that you tack down every bead for your first time, but as you get the hang of it, maybe you can tack down every other bead, but just up and over, and that little stitch is just gonna go right in between your row. See, I'm helping them all go how I want. Up and down. And don't pull too tight or else your beadwork is gonna pucker. This is the idea, yeah. Until your whole row is secure. So we're just gonna speed it up a little bit, but it's the same process. This time you're gonna see me go every other bead and constantly adjusting and holding down with my thumb. That's the most important part. Finding the right tension and just helping it get to where you want it to go. As you're doing this, you will find that you need to change your string or your thread. So you just give it a little snip. If you have two ends like this, you can tie them together. If you have another method, it doesn't have to be too complicated. I just wanted to show you and also, let you know what the back of beadwork looks like roughly. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my design. Here it is. And even in the end, I ended up going right to the edges. I kind of wanted that space for the geometric design. But even in the end, I'm still adjusting it. And there's the back. And now we're going to just cut off our excess. Be so careful here not to snip any of your threads, or you are going to have a sad time. You could leave it just like this, or you could give it a little border, a little creative edge. So I'm just adding some glue to the back, and I picked this nice contrasting yellow color. We're gonna pop her on there. You can use regular scissors. I happen to have some pinking shears to give it a kind of a funky edge here. So that's just gonna hide our thread work in the back and help it stand out a little bit. Ta-da! And here is a close-up shot. And again, this is, Preston would have used the same technique, just smaller beads and eventually adding curves. His is backed with some hide. It's whatever you have. Beadworkers are very resilient and innovative, so lots of techniques. We would love to see what you created, so please tag us on social media and others can see your work as well. Watching, and stay tuned for more Studio from Home with the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. Well, all in och nimultus. Thank you, and I'll see you again.